you faced this situation last year. You got a week to prepare, but have 4 different potential opponents to prepare for. What did you like best about the way that you guys handled, rest and recovery and practice and ramping things up last year that you really think you'll be able to do again here this year?
Yeah, I feel like we just gotta attack those days. We earn a spot to have those extra days to rest and to see what we got next. So we just gotta attack those. Attack our recovery. Go hard in practices and but be smart but yeah, we earned to be in that spot. So we'll use those days.
We talk so much just about the way that you limit opponents, big time scorers in terms of efficiency. What do you sense out there on the floor just in terms of like volume? It just seems like players don't shoot that many shots when you guard them.
Yeah, I feel like it's just the level of the defense I'll be playing. Obviously, I do a good job by staying in front of the guys I guard. So every shot they got to take will be a tough one. But at the same time, I got my teammates behind. So sometimes happen that I get beat. I got the trust of my teammates, and they always got my back.
Lou, up in making playoffs, what are you more confident about as a player, as a team, compared to last year?
Just trusting the work, honestly. We went through some battles this whole season, so we just gotta keep it going. Stay true to ourselves, play our game, and then I'm pretty sure result will be good on our end.
And Shade in November was just reflecting on the Dallas series and was saying that he felt he could have put some of the guys in better position in that moment. Just looking back like a full year later, how has he tried to do that, whether that's on and off the court?
He's been good. I mean, every season Shay's been involving as a player. He's been getting better in so many different areas, and that's one of them. Honestly, he has some great players around him, and some pretty good shooters. So anytime he attacked the paint, and there's so many guys collapsing on him. So he's making the right play for the team, and he's been getting better at that all season.
Lou, experimentation has always been one of Mark's hallmarks. Whether it's lineups or how you guys are just rolling out different things. How did you see that benefit you guys last year in the playoffs, and he continued to do that this season? How do you anticipate it impacting things this year?
I just feel like whatever lineup is on the floor, anytime somebody get their name called, they got to be ready to go. So we practice a lot. We seen a lot of different stuff. So us as players, we kind of know what to expect. So whenever we get our name called out there, whoever's on the floor with us, we just got to go out there and play hard and compete, and that's a recipe.
Did you feel comfortable in pretty much every situation last year? I know it's the playoffs and there's stress and all that, but just the fact that you guys had sort of done a lot of different things, do you remember that having that sense like this is helping me?
Anything he's doing he's going to do that to help the team.
Sure.
So yeah, he's always going to put everybody in the position to succeed. So at any lineups that was out there, we had a couple guys banged up this year where we had to throw some different lineups on the floor. So anything that we'll do in the postseason is something that we've already seen before.
On that same tip, how's that depth? Because that's been one of your strengths this season as a team. You consider that going to the playoffs? You guys continue to play a lot of guys.
That's a Coach Mark question. It's not really me. But
How about you think it'll help you?
Yeah, like I said, we throw so many lineup on the floor this season. So we have a lot of guys on this team that can go, and then whenever they get their name called, they'll be ready to go. So it's up to Mark to see who's going to be on the floor, and then whoever's on the floor is going to, I got the trust, and they're going to go out there and compete.
I guess I heard this. You had going to have a week off before you play again. Has it allowed you to kind of absorb the season you had? The regular season, historic, all the different records. I know that's not the primary thing, but does it allow you to kind of think? Because it's some stuff you guys did is pretty amazing.
Yeah, a little bit. We all always got to be proud of the work that we've done. It was a great regular season for us, and then we all know that. And then we all have that confidence that we was out there, we really did good. So now it was good. Now it's kind of behind us now. There's kind of a new season starting now. So, we'll be ready for whatever's next.
At what point in your basketball career did you decide I'm going to be a guy that locks people down? Because it's hard to get young dudes to play defense in the first place, especially at like AAU and younger levels. When did you decide that that was going to be your thing?
It kind of happened in my AAU times. I was kind of underdog playing in Montreal for Brooklyn Elite. I was the young French Canadian that just comes in the U.S. and plays against some high top ranks high school players. So my thing, I wanted my name to be out there as well. So I always wanted to guard the best player, the guy that was ranked at that time. So that's why I kind of got that type of confidence and that pride and like, oh, you rank and you that good. So let me see what you're about for real. And then that was just my approach, just to get my name out there, and then it worked well.
Lou, you're getting a lot of discussion for Defensive Player of the Year, but other people are saying, as much as I like Lu Dort and Daniels, whoever, I got to vote for a big man. Do you want to make a case not for your candidacy, but for perimeter players winning the award on defense?
I mean, a lot of people can say that the game has changed. I mean, there's way more in the game now than just blocking shot at the rim. There's so many teams that plays a lot of actions in the perimeter, have guys running off screen, pin downs, and all this type of stuff, and those stuff are like hard to guard. And so that's the only thing I would say. There's a lot of stuff that happens on the perimeter and not just at the rim. And I feel like a lot of guards should be more recognized for that award. And yeah.
How has Alex? I mean, you're still oftentimes guarding the other team's best player, but Alex is obviously a high level defensive guy. How have you sensed even his presence on the floor changing things for opponents?
A lot. I mean, he's really vocal. That's the biggest thing. I mean, that's a huge key on that side of the floor. Just being able to hear somebody's voice behind you, knowing what's going to happen or any play calls that happen. And he has a lot of experience. He's been through a lot of games, and he has great hands at the same time. So like just those two stuff combined, it just helped the whole team.
Do you sense sometimes opponents they probably hear him too, and it's like, oh crap, I need to get rid of the ball, but I know he probably knows where I'm going to throw it. Like you almost sense opponents almost double taking, double clutching. I don't know what they would do, but
I can sense that. Honestly, sometimes he just blow out the play just because he's so loud, and we all aware that what's going to happen. So yeah, it happened a couple of times where I noticed it.
Lou, when people talk about your defense, they talk about the physicality, your foot speed, athleticism, and just your relentlessness. But I want to ask you about sort of just your preparation for a matchup. What does that look like, and does that go up a notch when you get close to the playoffs?
I mean, I watched a lot of film. Like I've said before, I have my iPad where I have my notes and all that in there. So I mean, it goes up a notch a little bit in the playoffs, definitely, because we've seen the same team for a couple games. So yeah, I mean, it's really just talking on the details and some of the stuff that I really like to do, and then I just go in the game kind of knowing some of the stuff they like to do.
You guys set up well for the future. Young team, playing great, a lot of draft picks, all that kind of stuff. And you got there by being patient. But how do you counter that reaching the playoffs and realizing, hey, this is a unique opportunity that we need to take advantage of? Nobody needs to be patient for the next 6-8 weeks.
I mean, yeah, from where we are now, I don't think we have to be. I mean, we here now, so it's not. It has nothing to do with being patient now. We in the mix, so we just got to go out there and do everything we got to do to win every game. It's not going to be easy. We got to take it day by day, game by game. But we where we want to be, and then we happy. We at this point now. Now we just got to go get it.
Yeah, what's your answer to I don't want to call them critics or doubters, whatever you want, but they say men are too young. They haven't had enough disappointment. You as a team, what's your answer to that?
I'm more into the team and trusting the work. Honestly, I mean, we work hard to get to that point. I mean, people can say anything. It is what it is. But we here for a reason, and we got here for a reason. You know what I mean? So we earned a spot to be here. So now we just got to go out there and compete and show it.
Anything else? Thanks, Lou.
thank you, Lou. Appreciate it.
Isaiah, you guys really honed in on so many things over the course of the season you got really, really great at. Are there any off the top of your head that you feel like apply every night in the playoffs as you look forward to this next challenge?
I think the biggest thing is details. I mean, especially during the playoff series, it's honing in on your opponent. making sure you're doing the right rotations, knowing where to be in certain situations. And so I think throughout the season we've been working on that, preparing for this moment. And I think Mark does a great job of just not wasting time. Whatever we're doing, like today we came in, we got some good work in. We worked on the stuff we need to work on. And yeah.
You guys earned the right to rest your bodies, to have this week to prepare, almost like maybe a little mini training camp. What does that feel like for you all to have earned that and to have this to look forward to this week?
That was good. I mean, first of all, the guys, the last 2 games did an amazing job. Again, I think you can kind of see how deep our team is from that standpoint. I mean, a lot of guys didn't play those games, but everyone stepped up and played great games. So first of all, appreciate them. But for us, just being able to kind of get our bodies right, and then today to really go after it was big.
Isaiah, obviously, like, you've been through playoff series, you've been through playoff wars, and most of this team has only played 10 total playoff games if they were here last year. So, what kind of perspective are you trying to add going into these playoffs, and how does it feel different entering this postseason with this team versus teams you've played with before?
I think just going into it, kind of having what we've been talking about all year, that 0-0 mentality. Especially in the playoffs, there's so many highs and lows. How can you reset? Is the biggest thing. I think those are the best teams. It doesn't matter what happens in a game. They're able to reset and kind of focus on the next opportunity. And so I think that's been the main thing we've been talking about. Emotionally, it's going to be a roller coaster, especially in the playoffs, and we're ready for that.
You mentioned being able to reset. From your experience, what goes into being able to emotionally reset between games?
I think you do that as a team. I think the main thing you have to kind of blind out the machine, kind of blind out the media, especially after the games. You lose one game, it's going to be the end of the world. You win one game, you're the greatest of all time. So I think it's really just going game by game, focusing on what we can control. And I think Sam, Mark, and the whole team are doing a great job of that was the main point from day one. And that was also a reason why I wanted to come here, is because it was so focused on that. It's just the day-to-day focus. And so, yeah.
Isaiah, the experimentation that Mark is willing to do with lineups and all sorts of different things, how do you feel like, I mean, this is the first time you've been in his system, but as you go into the playoffs, how do you feel like having been in that scenario may impact you and the team at large?
He's the elite coach. I think the main thing, what makes him so special, is just the in-game adjustments. I think especially going to playoffs, there's so many scenarios that other team can throw at you, and a coach being able to adjust on the fly and being able to do what he's been doing all season is huge. I mean, at the end of the day, we still have to execute, but having a coach like that and in a team where he can change the lineups, he can put different people out there, I think it's big.
Do you think you all's comfort level with the ever-changing way that he's done things helps you guys to be able to adapt to whatever he wants to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, we're all team first. I think that's the main thing. I think no matter what Mark throws out there, we're willing to do whatever the team needs to win. I think that's kind of what makes a team special. I think a lot of other teams, if someone adjusts your role so frequently, I think a lot of people would have a problem with that. But us being able to focus on our team and do whatever Mark needs us to do, I think that's what makes us special.
You heard the phrase, the playoffs are different than regular season. What's that mean to you?
I think more just, again, emotions are a lot higher. You play more physical. I think every play matters, so every rotation matters. I think it's more, that's where you get more into the details of, I think, what made us great all season, the little rotations, everyone being on the same page. And so I think now, just going into it, it makes our life easier that we don't have to kind of flip a switch and play a different style of basketball. And so, yeah.
You had success last year. Here you are going into the playoffs with a new team, new leader, in Shea. What is it that you've seen over the course of the season, Shea, that gives you confidence in him as a leader as you take this step?
The trust he has in his teammates. I think that's huge, especially going into a playoff series where he might see every coverage in the book, having trust in his teammates, but then also being fearless. I think he's a player, no matter how big the stage is, he's going to show up offensively, but also defensively. And I think I have the most trust in him. And I think our whole team does. And so yeah.
Yeah, obviously, you weren't here last year to maybe have that point of reference, but he came into the year. I think you guys had just played Dallas in like November, and he was saying that looking back on last year when they lost in the playoffs, that he felt he could have better prepared his teammates for that scenario. Like, how is he going about preparing the team on and off the court for what this might be this upcoming postseason?
I think throughout the season, what I said before, just trusting his teammates, trusting us. I think, again, when he gets doubled, he's not trying to force his own shot. He's making the right plays, making the right read. And I think everyone on the team going into the playoffs, we have confidence. And I think especially now when the playoff comes, having confidence is really important. Again, you're going to see so many different schemes, and if you're not used to touching the ball, it's hard to just turn that on. And so I think we're all going in with confidence, and I think that's what made him elite all season. Yeah, he's scoring, but he's making sure that we're all in the right situation. And I think maybe you don't see it with the big assist numbers, but it's always the hockey assist. I mean, I think he gets double, pass it to me, I'm making the next play. So if you want to count hockey assists, he's probably averaging like 15 assists too. So yeah.
And I don't know that you came in lagging confidence, but how does he maybe put confidence in you?
It's not lagging confidence. I mean, I think I always had confidence, but it's more knowing that your star player trusts you. I think that's big. I think for everyone on the team, knowing he's willing to get off the ball, make the right read, and I think that's what makes him special. That he doesn't care about his assist numbers. He doesn't care. I think there was a couple times this season, like, sorry, I should have just took the floater for the assist. And he was like, no, I just made the right play. Like, I don't care about assists. I just want to win games. And so I think he's been doing that all season, and that's what makes him special.
Isaiah, teams as young as you guys are historically haven't made the deepest playoff runs. What do you think it is about this team where you guys can be an outlier in that regard?
I mean, I think also historically, young teams like us haven't won 68 games too. So I think that's another fact. But again, we have to earn it. We have to earn it. Start 0-0, but I think we have so much confidence in ourselves. But I mean, we could say as much as we want right now. We have to go in, earn it, and go take it. I think that's the biggest thing. We can't, no matter who we're playing against. We're confident. We don't fear nobody, but we have to go take it, and no one's going to give it to us.
Isaiah, with your push floater, that's become one of the things that fans have really noticed this season. Where did that sort of start out? Have you always been a guy who like really hierarchs it? Have you ever used the backboard?
I think it goes back to my dad. I think my dad, from a young age, put me in a lot of positions. Played more guard growing up, so he put me in a lot of positions where I was working on my touch, working on different things. And I mean, it wasn't such a signature until probably came in the league and started noticing guys a little bit more athletic. And so I think for me it was the easiest shot, especially against tall guys like, I mean, Rudy Gobert or Wemby or stuff like that. You can always get it off. It's an easy shot for me and it feels comfortable. So.
Have any guys asked you, I guess, how you do it or work on it with them?
I mean, like kids probably, yeah. Like I've done it with like kids camp, but other than that, no.
Isaiah, is it strange not knowing who your opponent is?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little different. I think especially with playoffs where it's so detail oriented, where you're preparing for who you're playing against. And most of the time, you know everything about your opponent, and now we just know it could be 4 different teams. And so, again, I think Mark's done a great job, especially today, just not wasting time. We're coming in, we're working on our stuff, we're going after it. It's hard practice, but it's very productive, and so yeah.
You work on more you since you don't know you're playing?
Yeah, I mean, I think in general we always work on a lot of us. I mean, I think Mark puts us in a lot of situations during practice where it could be different coverages, different times in the game. I think he does a great job of making sure we're prepared in those aspects. So no matter what what situation we are in the game. We're always prepared.
You've had a historic season, but you got a week off. Does it allow you to kind of absorb that, what you've done this regular season, or is that something you have to do after everything's done?
I mean, again, it's something historic. I think it's something, first of all, you have to appreciate. I think only like 86 players in NBA history have ever won 68 games. And so I think, first of all, you have to appreciate that. But at the end of the day, we're locked in on the playoffs, and we know the season was great. We have a lot of confidence coming out of it, but we have to earn in the playoffs. Start 0-0, and we're prepared for that.
So I wanted to follow up on the push shot question. When you shoot a shot that's kind of your money shot that isn't very common,
Yeah.
does it take a little bit of a mind switch to be like, okay, I've worked on this, I can do, like, how did it mentally have to sink in for you?
I don't know. I think the time where I kind of switched it was with the Rockets, where we were so analytics based, and they weren't allowing us to shoot mid-range shots. And so I was trying to find the shot that I could kind of use, and I guess that was the shot. I mean, they weren't always happy with it, but it was kind of like in that medium range where it wasn't a mid-range. And so I guess now it works out. So.
Did you get to a point or have to get yourself to a point where you saw maybe a certain percentage go in and you were like, okay, I'm good with this? Or did you have to see something happen?
No, I think, I was always confident with it.
Yeah.
I think more just like at the beginning, probably the coaches had to see that it was going in. But in general, I've been doing it since I've been a kid, so I was confident with it.
I said guys like Dub and Alex, they've kind of popularized this whole watch the games movement when they get asked about awards or whatever it might be. Obviously, we joke a lot about you coming from the New York market, but how crazy is it for you that maybe this team has gotten the sense that you have to convince people to watch a 68 win team?
That's a hard one. I think especially nowadays with social media, how everything is like you're just trying to see little highlights here and there. I think in general, not a lot of people watch full games. And so I think especially with guys like Lou, where it's like maybe his defensive stats aren't like the most craziest things, but he's just getting stops. And so for me, I think that's the point where, if your guy's really making the voting for who's defensive player of the year, go watch Lu Dort on all the best players in the league. He's getting stops. Their percentage is going down, and we had the best defense in the league, and then Lou was probably the main part of that.
Do you like where basketball viewership is at this point? Like the way people watch and digest games in basketball period?
It's a hard take. I think in general now with social media, it's always people's attention spans a lot shorter than it was before, and so I think sometimes a little disappointing that where a fan might only know the box score or a highlight that was on House of Highlights or something, but we just control what we can control and go from there.
I know in years past, Sam has oftentimes talked to the group before playoffs. Has he done that yet?
Yeah, he did. It was a great talk.
Can you kind of give me just what you took away from it heading into the playoffs?
Again, just didn't waste time, got to the point. I think it was very kind of just brought us back in together, just knowing what our goals were, knowing what we've been through in the season, knowing how together we are. And so, it was great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Mark, you've always had a experimentation mindset. I'm wondering, as you head into these playoffs, what areas do you feel like, having experimented like you did earlier in your time, but also this season, how do you feel like that could have some areas where it could have a big impact in playoffs?
A lot of it comes from watching other playoff series over time, and you get into a series with another team. Both teams establish kind of a baseline, and then you have to adjust off of that. And the series can take you in a lot of different directions. And I've always found it to be wild that you end up doing something in a playoff series that you've never done during the regular season. And so one thing that we've tried to get in the water from the beginning, even when we weren't a playoff team, was like getting our team used to being able to pivot to different things and be put in different situations because we know that you can end up there in a playoff series. And so I don't know if we're ready for everything, but we're ready for a lot. And the guys have done a great job. You know, you can only do that if your guys can go with you, and they've done a great job of being adaptive in those situations as well.
I'm just curious, what are some of the things you're watching for when you watch other teams' playoff series?
I mean, you just kind of, when I say other teams, I mean studying them over time. You know, in the past, you know, where our whole staff, we have eyes on every single playoff series every single summer for as long as I've been here, and trying to learn from what other teams are doing and also what other teams end up having to do. So it's, you just see how the series unfold. Team goes up 2-0, you know, the team that's down 2-0 changes their starting lineup. You know, they start small or something, or they play zone, or they, you know, they do something, and then it starts this ripple effect of the series taking on kind of a different face. And the trick is, can you have the team prepared enough so that anything that comes up feels familiar and can be met with confidence and decisiveness and aggression. And that's what we try to do, but there's no guarantee. You know, you never know what's going to happen until you're in a series with a team.
Mark, we all know the history of young teams in the playoffs. Usually it takes a time or two. What is it about this team that may be able to overcome that?
I mean, this team has a track record of overcoming that, you know, in some of the accomplishments that we've had in the regular season, in the postseason even. This is, I've said many times, an uncommon team. It's a group of guys that have an uncommon mentality, an uncommon connection and competitiveness together. And so that's where our confidence comes from. If you have a lot of experience, that gives you confidence, but there's other sources of confidence. We're a confident team because of who we are, how we've operated, and mainly what we have in our locker room.
You guys have been very patient in your decision making, management, all those things. It's how one reason you got here and why your future is so bright. But how do you counter that by, when you get to the postseason with a team this good, sort of get the mentality, hey, we need to take advantage of this opportunity?
We're definitely in that mindset. We're trying to take advantage of this opportunity. You know, it's, the postseason is about doing everything you can to win the next game in front of you. You know, and so that for us right now, it's game one on Sunday, and then when game one's over, that series will not be over, and it'll be game two. And you know, everybody's eggs are in those baskets this time of year. You know, we have the opportunity to improve through the series. We have the opportunity to improve with every game, and that's one of the benefits of having a team that's got less experience, is we can get better, and we definitely got to stay focused on that. But you know, every team that has earned the right to be in the playoffs is trying to win the next game in front of them, and we're no different than that.
Mark, we've talked about Lu's effectiveness defensively, you know, forcing low efficiency. How about just pure shot volume? I mean, it seems like, I don't know if you would have insight on, you know, this exact thing, but it just seems like a team's best players don't get many shots off when he guards them.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it, you know, and a lot of it's like on your terms. It's an efficiency thing. Like, if they want to jam shots up there, you want to make them inefficient shots. And, you know, the really good players are usually pretty patient and usually, you know, make the right plays. And we try to be a team that forces those guys out of their comfort zone, forces teams out of their comfort zone. And when you have a guy like Lu, that certainly is a luxury and makes it easier to do that with some of the best perimeter players. So, you know, I don't know who we're playing. You know, I don't know what's going to unfold, but I know he's, you know, going to be a huge part of it for us just because of what he's proven, his ability, what he's been proven to be able to do in these situations.
Mark, as good as you guys have been this year, this core group of guys together only has like 10 playoff games together. Are you curious about, I mean, and then you add Alex and Isaiah and all that. Are you curious about anything in particular as you head into these playoffs, considering all that?
I mean, I just try to stay very present. I don't make a lot of assumptions. I don't have a lot of expectations. I don't make predictions. You know, I just tackle what's right in front of me. I try to help the team tackle what's right in front of us, and we just take things as they come. You know, you can. What we found is when you go into the series or you go into the playoffs or whatever, you know, you can make a bunch of predictions or be curious about a bunch of things, and then after game one, your list changes. You know, and so what we've found is it's better to keep the main thing, get the team ready to play confidently and to play hard and to play together. And then after game one on Sunday, we'll have a blueprint that we, can take into game two, and then the series unfolds from there.
Did you learn anything as a first-time head coach leading the team last year in the playoffs? That do you feel like you've changed anything or any approaches as you head into your second time around?
I try to learn from every experience. So yeah, I definitely learned from last year's playoffs. I learned from every single game that I've ever coached. I'm still learning this team as it grows and changes and evolves. I'm still learning these players. So I try to remain open, and remain curious and learning from every experience. I don't make every right decision. I try to learn when the outcomes aren't what we want them to be. Our staff's the same way, and that's how you get better. And so that's what we're trying to do.
One of the strengths of your team is your depth, but then there are those say when you get to the playoffs, the starters play more minutes. How do you handle that in terms of doing what you've done all season, or do you change?
I mean, we have to understand depth is a strength for us, and so we're not going to tie a hand behind our back by not leaning into that. But as the series unfolds, sometimes it's a certain guy's series, and then the next series, if you are fortunate enough to advance, it could be somebody else. You got to listen to what the series is telling you. You got to listen to what the games are telling you. But generally, we're going into it with confidence in a lot of players, and we're going to lean into that pretty good early on, and then play the ball from where it is.
Mark talked about learning from experiences. What about this specific week? You had the same situation last year, not knowing who your opponent is. Is there something you can take from that preparation experience last year?
Yeah, I mean, it's a unique situation, to have this much time in between games and to not know your opponent. Now, our opponent won't be able to prepare. We'll both have the same amount of time to prepare. We both have Saturday, and then we play Sunday. So you're at no disadvantage. But we definitely learned from last year on how to manage the week. I think we did a lot of things well. We obviously played well in the first round last year, so it wasn't like an erase the whiteboard type situation. But there's definitely things that we adapted this season, having gone through it. So we're definitely leaning on that experience.
As a general rule, how much do teams actually change regular season to postseason? I mean, you beat somebody 3-1, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the series 3-1. But how much do they change as teams?
I think everybody's, parking everything except, and trying to win. That's definitely part of it. I think the 82 game nature of the season, teams can drift in and out of engagement at different times. There's parts of your schedule that just beat you up, and you're not at optimal operating, procedure, so to speak, in those parts of the schedule. You're more enduring parts of the schedule, and in the playoffs, it's not like that. But with that said, I think adjustments, schemes, all that stuff gets a lot of shine in the playoffs. But if you really watch the games, it's the same game. It comes down to fundamental things. I would say 85 to 90% of it is the exact same game, and then 10% of it's schematic changes, lineup changes, tactical changes. But you still got to guard the ball. You still got to rebound. You still got to space the floor. You still got to, if there's two people on, you still got to pass. And those things are unchanging. And that's why the habits in the regular season that you build, the muscles that you build, are so important.
Mark, back in November, Shea was just reflecting on last year's postseason and saying that he felt he could have done a better job of trying to put his teammates in positions for that moment. A year later, how confident are you in his ability to do that and his ability to sort of, his role in the sort of emotional roller coaster that series can be?
I'm supremely confident in our team, and Shea's a part of our team, and how he's led is a part of our team, but I'm supremely confident in our team. I think we've got a group of guys that are capable players, that are high impact. If they are who they are, we've got a lot of different guys that can impact a series and that can impact a game. And I've got great confidence in that. I've also got great confidence in the way that this team's operated. I really believe in that. The muscle you build collectively over time shows up, in pressure situations, in high stakes situations. And these guys have built a lot of confidence in me. I have a ton of confidence in them. And, it's going to be challenging. There's definitely going to be, our back will be against the wall in games and at different times, but there's no group of guys I'd rather be coaching than this team right here.
not only are you guys unsure of who your opponent's going to be, but several of the teams that are among that four had significant changes at the trade deadline, and one of them has a new coach. I mean, how much does that add to it, in addition to the fact that you don't know who you're playing?
I mean, we're definitely doing advanced stuff on all those teams, and we have been for a couple weeks now. We were doing advanced stuff on the 6 or 7 teams that could have been in this situation. Once these 4 merge, we hone down there. After tomorrow, it'll be 2. We'll hone down again, and then it'll be 1, and we'll have a game plan that we'll roll out. And we've been, prepping for this for a long time. I think that the trick is, how do we make sure we're prepared and we really know as much as we can about the teams in an intimate way without overloading our team. It's not like we're out here in practice today doing 4 game plans. We're getting our guys ready to compete together, getting ready to close out, getting ready to, do the things like I mentioned that are fundamental, that are going to show up on Sunday no matter what. So that's the needle we have to thread, but, we'll be ready from a preparation standpoint for whoever we end up playing.
Anybody else? Thank you, Coach.
All right,
Thanks,
thanks.
Coach. Gonna get some time.